Hello, and welcome to The Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. I am just drinking on a little bit of water here because hydration is important. So get your water, absolutely, but also get your cup mug. Yeah,
So I'm gonna take some every
because
at once.
no, because cup mugs are great and you need to get one. So get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. We're gonna have a party while I'm telling you all this because LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com is where you get your cup mug and your cup merch. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get your cup merch, period.
Yes. And hello, hi. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. And if y'all watch the channel, you already know I'm drinking coffee. But I had to break out a very special mug that I have not yet used on any of our channels, because it's a very special occasion here today. It felt correct. Yes, it is the end of April, but it felt correct to break out the Santa mug for the
Jesus.
occasion that we have today. It's large. It makes its presence known, and it's covered in Christmas. Much like the person we are interviewing today.
Covered in Christmas.
There was Christmas stuff on the show that
Please stop. You're stretching. You're stretching. You're stretching right now. And he
I
wasn't
did
even.
the best. I did the best that I could, Lana.
That was not that great. Anyway.
That the whole house was Christmas at one point.
Yeah, but Santa wasn't even. Okay. Anyway,
I
y'all.
understand that Santa was Susan, but still.
Anyway. We are here doing something a little different today that we
Yep.
that we haven't been able to do for this particular show. We're having an interview with Steve from Got to Get Out. Y'all know who we're talking about.
Yay.
I mean, he was known as a lot of things on the show. Liar Steve, some people called him. Sneaky Steve, some people called him. I personally called him one of the best players in the house, Steve, because
Period. Point blank. Yes, God.
Steve actually played the game and was trying to play the game, and I appreciate anybody coming on to try to play the game. So we're excited here to have this opportunity to talk to Steve, see what tea he has to spill about the show, and anything else he wants to talk about. But
And
before we,
apparently there's a lot. So
eh,
buckle in, y'all.
that's great. I'm here for it. So before we jump into the interview, we do need to do a few things. First of all, subscribe to this channel, absolutely, because we are on a mission to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. And we talk most things competitive reality television on this channel. So if that's your judge, you should subscribe to this channel. And the mission has multiplied across the entire Cup network. So we're trying to get 1,000 new subscribers on all of our channels. So those links will be in the description below. Click on it, subscribe. If you're a fan of drag or drag race, at the Cup Pod is the place for you. If you are a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, at the Cup ESC is the place you need to go. And if you are a fan of WWE wrestling, at the Cup ringside is the seat you want to sit in. So jump in and subscribe to all of those channels. Help us out. Help us make our mission and reach our mission. But I'm a little biased. Definitely subscribe to this channel. I'm just saying.
Well, yes.
I'm a little
It's a
biased.
it's a party wherever we're at here. So if you want a party, come check us
Yes.
out.
Check
Hello.
absolutely. So check us out, subscribe to the channel, follow, share, do all the things. Also, if you need to check us out on the go, we have an audio podcast link in the description below for you, so you can check that out. So you could listen to us on your way to work or school or church, wherever you need to go. Check that out. Also, join our Patreon. We got a lot of fun things happening and enjoy coming your way in our Patreon. So join our Patreon. Things are getting heated up. We got some great ideas coming. So definitely join the Patreon. This is the place you want to go to get early access, exclusive content, and things that you will not find, you will not see on the channel at all. So check it out. And finally, join all of our socials. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. It's a party over there, so join us at all those things. And so now I'm going to stop talking because it's time to get out of the way because you don't want to hear us talk.
We got to get out.
We got to get out of this part and we got to get into the interview with Steve. So without any further, without any more talking from us, here comes Steve. Like I said, y'all, this is the man who I personally enjoyed the most on Got to Get Out. Steve is here. I'm not going to call him Liar Steve because that's not how I felt about it. I'm going to call him Game Playing Steve because he played the game. And Steve is here.
Hey.
Yay!
I'm okay with being called Liar Steve because, yeah, I lied a lot, but that was what the game was.
That's the game.
It's the game. So, oh gosh, yeah, it's good to be here, and I cannot wait to tell you everything because you watch it and it's never quite the same as what you experienced, and I will talk about everything. I will tell you what didn't make the edit. I will tell you where all of us are with our relationships with each other, all of that.
So, I'm excited.
We're so happy to have you.
So happy. I have so many questions and I'm going to ask as many as I can. Like I'm going to be writing questions as you're talking just in case I miss something because I know I'm gonna have something. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start off with were you surprised? Because were you just as surprised as I was from the other players' response to you actually trying to get out than they were with Doodles when he tried to get out right after you? And his response coming back in the house. Were you just as confused or surprised like I was? Because I'm like, wait, what? What do you? Okay.
Yes and no. So let me give you just a little bit of background about me is I have been watching reality TV since the Real World's first season.
Me too.
30-something years ago. Like, I can tell you the order of Real World seasons, everything. Then Survivor comes along, and I'm like, this is amazing. And what I tell people is, I heard about Survivor on the radio. I was like, that sounds amazing. I wrote down an address so that because it was before everything was online, how you were going to be able. I never applied for it and everything. But I remember May 31st of 2000 watching Survivor live in my living room, commercials and all. And then after that, there was a show called Big Brother that premiered the same day. And I watched that. And all I can say is that led to this unhealthy obsession with reality TV that is beyond anything I can explain. Like a good example is I get into the house and I see all these people. It's like, oh, that's Jill. I know Jill because I saw Outlast. You know what she did on Outlast? Well, on episode 6, she did this. On episode, I mean, I knew these people. Omarosa, I have known since. Well, I used to, I worked for People Magazine for so long covering reality TV. So some of it was my job, but some of it was also my obsession, and it kind of all worked together. So I was getting paid to watch these shows. So, I'm not a big Housewives watcher, but I knew Cynthia from Celebrity Big Brother. So it's like all these, and Kim, you just everybody kind of knows who Kim is, whether you watch Bravo or not. So
whether you're a Housewives fan or not, you kind of know who Kim Zolciak is. Yeah.
So it was like believe it or not, of everybody who'd been on a show in America, like I didn't watch Canadian Big Brother, which now I need to go back and watch those. And I didn't watch The Bachelorette Greece, which is of course where Athena was from. And she won, by the way.
Yeah, she's pretty big in Greece. She's pretty big, I found out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, after the fact, I was like, oh. Yeah. Oh, so she's a big
She's a
deal.
big
Okay.
thing in Greece.
But she was
Got
considered a rookie, like, and so the funny thing is, I knew who all these people were, and I did think to myself, because once I realized that it was going to be reality people, I'm thinking, well, where are the strategists? Where are the survivors? Where are the big brothers? Where are anybody who's been on these other shows? And the shows that they're on are so different when it comes to any sort of gameplay or anything like that, that I kind of knew, like, okay, I got to play. First of all, I'm going to play the game hard, because if I want any airtime at all, I got to play the game. But also, and I don't want to be all, I don't even know how to say it. They hired me to come on this show. They expected a game to be played.
Absolutely.
And it would be, in my opinion, disrespectful to take these people's money to come there. They fly me to Canada. They put me in a mansion. And I'm like, I'm just going to sit here. I'm not going to play their game. That, to me, that would be a really disrespectful thing to the other people. It would be disrespectful to the audience. It would be disrespectful to the game itself. Like, you're hired to play the game. Play the game. Play the game, and not just play the game, but play it as hard as you can. Be messy, be chaotic, be strategic, be outspoken, be out there. Like, be there or go home. That's kind of my take on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all sit around, and we're all, there's 20 of us sitting around this enormous dining room table that you never see us sitting at. You see Doodles and me and Athena hiding behind it at one point. But yeah, we all 20 of us sat around the first night, and there was this general consensus of, well, we're not going to play this game. We each get $50,000 if we stay here for 10 days. Let's just do that. And of course, I'm like, oh, okay, and everything. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? First of all, it's not even about the money. Sure. Oh, 50 grand for 10 days. A lot of money for me. Of course. But what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
It's so boring.
What is the fun in that? It's like, you don't get asked to do a reality show on Hulu every day. So I was like, I kind of in my mind thought, the very first chance I get, I'm going to go for it, because I also knew that probably the way that the game would work, the first couple times weren't going to work. Like, they don't want somebody leaving on day 2. No. So it's probably not going to work out for me, but I'm going to try it. First of all, just to kind of get a sense of the way that I would be able to get out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But also just, there was a very real chance there for a little bit that they were going to have put $1 million worth of cars in the front yard, and nobody was going to use them.
Right.
And
for what reason? For what reason?
So yeah. Okay. So the reason why I wasn't completely surprised about the way I was treated. And by the way, my feelings were never hurt, not even once in that house. Good. Nobody ever did anything that made me feel bad about myself. Nobody, it was somewhat done with a wink and a nod. Omarosa would say something, and then she'd kind of wink, and she'd walk away. Good. And then when, so I, Kim got really like pointed with me, but then, after she was done with it, because she and I were the coffee drinkers of the house. Mm-hmm. It was in the morning. She came in and she was just kind of letting me have it and everything. And then she's like, anyway, so here's your coffee. And so I'm like, I get it. I get what you guys are doing. I get that. So, and I'm not going to lie, when this part of the edit was absolutely true. There was a point where Spencer, Omarosa, Kim, Cynthia, Jill, and a couple other people were sitting around the table talking crap about me for trying to get out. And I was like right around the corner so I could hear it. And you see me, I'm like listening in and everything. Mm-hmm. I could not, that was like Christmas morning to me. I'm like, okay, like they're all like, they have nothing better to talk about than me. Me. Like
best case scenario.
So I'm like, I was just, so none of it ever hurt my feelings. I will say the difference came in the fact that Doodles, Nick, showed up in light up shoes that he bought on Temu. So it's like, okay, and he's like bouncing around and he's like skinny and I'm like, okay, he's a clown. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's
no, he's the funny part. He's the funny character of this group.
You know, he's okay. Oh, he's calling himself Doodles, which I'm just like, yeah, I kind of refuse, but I ended up calling him anyway. I didn't come in with that. I didn't come in with that at all. I came in with this idea like, okay, I truly thought I was going to get there and it was going to be people who were playing like you play traders. People were going to be serious about it and everything. And when I realized that nobody else was serious about it, I was like, they sat down. We didn't know what the rules were before it started. Okay. And they sit us down with the rules. And I remember when he said, and nobody's getting voted out of this game. I was like, oh, this is good. Like, so I can do anything, like anything, and they can't vote me out. There is a level of, if this had been a vote out game, I would have played it much, much differently. But it's like, you can't get rid of me. So, you know, I'm just going to wreak havoc in this house, and that's okay. You know, so I kind of had this idea in my mind that as long as I didn't do anything mean, like mean to somebody, I never called anybody a name. I never tried, you know, that's not what I'm playing. You know, I didn't lie about, you know, losing my dead grandma or anything like that. Though I might have done that if I could have. But it's like, you know, a lie in the game is not being mean. That's just playing the game. So, and I was very kind to people about it. And they were kind to me. So, you know, but yeah, when Doodles comes in and everybody's cheering him on, I'm like, and of course, they pulled me aside for my confessional. And I'm like, seriously? But there's also part of me that's like, okay, that fits. Like, that's what's happening. I'm going to react to it in real time and be like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, so all that to say, I wasn't, I mean, it happened and I was like, okay, that's what's happening. I did feel like, you know, if we had been in a room full of strategists, they would have realized, okay, maybe we want him for us rather than against us. Maybe we want him to work with me instead of being against him. Because, you know, I do this in real life, not just on podcasts. I talk about reality TV all the time. But on Big Brother, Dr. Will one time said that his strategy was to make his target so big that people couldn't focus on it. And that was running through my mind. I'm like, okay, my target's already big. Let's make it bigger. What's the trash doing today? And there were things that I'm going to tell you about that you did not see that made my target so big. And it's part of the reason why people were just, I don't want to say afraid of me because that would be giving myself too much credit, but they didn't know what to do with me, let's say.
Kind of unwilling to just like, Steve is there. I'm going to focus on other people and I'm going to focus on other elements of the game. Totally.
So the one I like to tell is the day after, we had challenges every day, which you guys never saw.
Okay. And that was one of my major questions for you, because that was one of the big things coming out of it is everyone started talking about all of the challenges. And I'm like, okay, then Hulu, where the fuck were the challenges? I want to see the fucking challenges.
The thing that kills me about it, and part of the reason why like Doodles got so many clues near the end is Doodles and Athena would work together on a challenge, and Doodles is a very good puzzle person.
Yeah.
And they would win, and then they would get there's exit strategies because they won a challenge.
Is that why Susan got so many as well?
No, we have no idea.
Okay.
Random,
cool.
Some were
cool. Okay.
You would get random ones, but then you would get ones if you won a challenge too.
Okay. Cool.
So let's talk about the car challenge for a minute, or the car situation. There was a challenge before that. That was a timekeeping challenge. We were at a garden party. We were all dressed up. We had these big casks of wine, and we had to count out $2,000 worth, which is 30 minutes. And when we thought we got close to that, you pull the stopper off the cask of wine, and you get sprayed with red wine. Well, red grape juice, because it's a dry show. So we're all wandering around. They have a band, they have like food, they have everything. And we're supposed to be counting 30 minutes. And Rob and I figured it out. I was counting 60 seconds, and every time I would count 60 seconds, I would just hand him a cracker, because we had all this spread of food. We had like charcuterie boards and everything. I would hand him a cracker. And so he would put the cracker in a cup that he had. And then when we got to 31 crackers, we knew that we were close to, everybody else was playing croquet and stuff like that. Everybody saw Rob and I doing that. We won that challenge handily. And when we pulled the stoppers out, we counted 1, 2, 3, and we did it at the same time. Everybody saw that. Kim pulled after us, and Doodles pulled after us, because they saw us pull, count the things. So we win. And Rob gets the car first. I get it next. Doodles gets it next, and Kim gets it last when it comes to going in and getting your keys. So Rob goes in and gets his key. I don't know that we've won yet. Nobody's told us. We just know, when people had done their thing. And Rob gets his key, and Rob and I are aligned. We are like, the thing you see at the beginning with Rob, me, and firefighter Athena, that was legit. I was like, that's my alliance, the three of us. It's the three of us working. So Rob and I work together on this challenge. And then we go in, he goes and gets his key. He comes out, and I go in next. At the time he comes out, he does that whole, oh, you're all in my family and everything. And he shows them his key. He does that whole thing, shows the key and everything. I don't see any of that, because I'm in getting my key. And they're asking me, do you feel any moral problems with this? I'm like, I met these people yesterday. Of course not. $100,000? No, we're good. So yeah. I come out, and I find out that Rob has just done what he did. And Spencer and Omarosa corner me, and are like, well, if he won, then you had to win. So that's when I gave the whole disqualification. I saw the cameraman's watch on a timekeeping challenge, and they disqualified me, and I didn't get my key. Made total sense. And that's the reason why everybody bought it hook, line, and sinker, because it makes total sense based on the context of the challenge.
The challenge. But outside of the challenge, what we saw, it made no sense. I was like, why would he say something about a watch? And that doesn't make
no fucking sense.
But it makes 100% sense, to the point where Claire was sitting next to me, and she's like rubbing my shoulders. She's like, it's okay. Don't quit the game. You're okay. Things go, it's reality TV. They're all these veterans are trying to comfort me.
Yeah.
And I have a key in my pocket.
Well, yeah.
And I'm just like, because the timeline is different. We did our thing first, because the challenge ended at night, or right at sundown. Rob and I were first. Doodles and Kim were the next day. So they showed Kim first, but hers was later. So I'm sitting there crying about losing the challenge. And then the next thing you know, I'm just, somebody said, and it may have been Claire, just go rinse off your face. Which the thing was in the bath, like the exit was in the bathroom. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'll go rinse off my face and buck up and everything. And then the light turns green, and I make a run for it with the key in my pocket. And so I think that there was the level of just how manipulative I was with that one. Like, I was getting them on my side, like, here's just this nice dad guy, because I never lied to anybody up to that. That was my first lie. And all of a sudden, it's like, the dad who's just here for his kids just stabbed us all in the back, which is why they show afterwards where Susan's like, which Stephen? Not the one who was just here. It's because nobody thought. I think I was cast to be the 50-something-year-old dad in the kitchen who's like, I'm just here for you guys. Let me buck you guys up, and let me and that's not what you get with me.
No.
and the funny thing is, they never asked me not one time in casting, how well do you know reality TV? If they had asked, they would have
know.
probably known. So,
did
everybody's
they
coming
not do their research?
Like, Google me. Like,
literally Google you.
So, in fact, during my first confessional, they're asking me a bunch of questions. They're like, how many of these people do you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, did you see when Jill in Outlast did such and such? And did you see Omarosa when she did, or Spencer when he did I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? And the producer was like, I think we gave you a really big gift. I'm like, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I know these people. So I knew that there was going to be some backlash, but I would say, I think it would have gone over a lot better if there had been, I think I could have easily gotten away with that if Parvati had been in the house.
Oh,
she now, because she would understand what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I say so myself, and I don't want to like pat myself on the back, but you do want to, I wanted to work with people who I thought have the mind to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think I was showing that I think I have a mind for games like this. And the reaction was very different. And that's when I was just like, I am going to, if a door turns green and I'm going to step outside and the watchtower is going to get me, fine. If they want me to literally, if whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do. If I'm rappelling off the side of the house, whatever, just because what do you have to lose at that point? So.
Exactly. Yeah. And that begs the question. That was another question that I had, because you had talked about, if you were in a house with more strategists, I do feel like, and I agree with you, I feel like you would have been able to thrive a little bit more. Being such a reality TV super fan, dream list, give me a few. Who would you have loved to see in that house with you?
All right. This is going to be a random list of people.
I love it. I'm excited for that.
I would have loved Stephen Fishback from Survivor in there. I would have loved June from Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved her in there. Yes. I would have loved Tyson Apostle, and Tyson knew I was out there. I broke the rule and I told Tyson I was out there. I was going out there, and he gave me some advice before I went. I would love to see. I had no, Cynthia was great to have out there. I think that I would have chosen her anyway, because she does have the mind for that type of thing. And then I would probably choose, who I would choose? Again, from Survivor, Lisa Welchel from The Facts of Life. I needed another mom out there.
Okay. I'm on board. Her. Yeah, no, I'm on board with that.
So I give the Survivor Big Brother thing. I would have loved to have somebody from An Amazing Race season. I don't even care who. Just people who understand that, we're here playing a game. Not everything that's going to come out of our mouths is true, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're not bad people, whatever. I don't necessarily feel like I would want the marquee names of Survivor, although I did tell Sandra, if they do another season, I'm going to recommend you. But I don't know that we need somebody who would be so, with the group that I had, if I could have chosen 3 or 4 other people, I would have tried to choose some people that wouldn't be such standouts when it comes to any sort of strategy. So I mean, and I'll say this. I'll say that I do think there was a level of people there that were learning as they went, but they didn't have the foundation of watching these shows. And it's not just that I watch the shows. You guys know I throw events, charity events where 100 Survivor people come. They're my friends. We talk, I covered it for People Magazine to the point where I would get on the phone with Jeff Probst. So it's I understand how a reality show is made. Maybe even more than some of the people that have been on a reality show. So I know what's going to make. There's very little that I'm surprised made the edit. Like something would happen, I'm like, yeah, that's going to make it. I was very surprised that the challenges were not, but.
Yeah. On that topic real quick, because I was just thinking about it, 2 people now that I'm dying to see on when I'm gonna manifest it when they do a season 2, because I love this format so this is my favorite, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. This is my favorite new reality TV format that has come out in the last, like, I'm gonna say 5 years. Honestly, I love this format. I would love to play this game. Like, this is so fun to me. But the 2 people I think would be so fun to see on this. You said Sandra. I'm gonna say Nina Twine.
Yeah.
I think Nina would be so fun to see. And we had Big Brother Canada here. I'm gonna say Ika Wong.
So I don't actually. Look, you found my gap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Big Brother Canada is phenomenal.
I'm about to say, you said you haven't watched it. You should go back and watch, because I think Big Brother Canada sometimes is a little bit superior to Big Brother US sometimes.
So I have watched a lot of Big Brother Australia.
Yes.
But it's like you could, as much as I love reality TV, it is like you only have so many hours in the day.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Oh yeah.
And when you start getting with Big Brother, it's like, oh, so I have to watch 30 episodes. Okay, so
Trust. As someone who's watched all of Canada, all of US, most of UK, civilian and celebrity. And I've watched like half of Australia. I understand.
You
on
guys
top
are
of
people.
everything else.
Yeah, we are people here.
This is what we do. Like, I literally just recently had to watch all 10 episodes of Battle Camp that just came out on Netflix just so I could podcast about it. And I watched all of Got to Get Out in one sitting so we could talk. Like, this is what we do. I don't.
And you're welcome back here anytime to talk about anything you want. By the way,
anything.
We're just move over. I'm gonna just take a seat.
Yeah, you're Cup family now, Steve. You're here, so you're welcome back anytime. No,
absolutely.
No, I want to ask because you did stand out like a sore thumb, and in a good way, I will say, because like Lana was saying earlier, I think you were, for me as well, the standout of this season for a lot of different reasons, because you were the game player. You were one of the biggest personalities on the season. I felt under-edited in a lot of ways, especially towards like the middle of the season. And I brought it up when I was on the podcast coverage here. Like, I just felt like it was like, oh, where did Steve go? Oh,
so there's a reason why I think, I mean, we're spoiling here, right? Like, I can spoil.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
If you hadn't watched our recap in the show, just go back and watch it.
First of all, go watch the show for Steve. Second of all, go watch our recap for us. Then come back and watch this if you haven't. So yeah, go for it.
I understood what they were doing with the edit. You know, I was very prevalent on episodes 1 and 2, and then I literally, I think I get one confessional per episode for 3, 4, and 5, something like that. I might not, even episode 4, I might not even have a confessional. And then I just come back in episode 6, and there I am for the rest of the season. Yeah. And I kind of understood that it's like, well, it can't just all be about Steve running around and doing his thing. You know, there are other interesting people here. You know, Spencer's got to get a storyline. Omaris has got to get a storyline.
Of course, yes.
I mean, they paid them to be there too. And also, a lot of what I was doing after between the trash can and Cynthia and Stein's edit is pretty repetitive. I hadn't started lying. I was just, you know, I was trying to get people to align with me, and they wouldn't. You see me doing it with Athena, firefighter Athena. I tried it with everybody. Gino wouldn't even talk to me. Now, Gino's probably one of my closest people now outside the house, but for a few days he wouldn't even look at me, and I'm like, you were on Big Brother. I mean, come on.
Are you aware of the gummy bear incident that happened with Gino on his season?
It was like, no. I mean, I read something about it. I had to get it wrong. But
when you get a chance, go Go find out more about the gummy bear incident, because it's one of the funniest things that's ever happened on a Big Brother season, in my opinion. But go ahead.
No, so it was like, and then also I was trying for clues in challenges that they didn't show. Like episode, so the day after the trash can thing, we had a challenge that we were in kayaks and we were trying to spell out words with our kayaks.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 4 words we had to spell out, and it was to add money to the pot. All right, so because there was some of that too, and the words we had to spell out. Okay, before to set the stage, we're all in wetsuits. We have kayaks. I think they kind of felt like taking the action outside of the house ruined the claustrophobic feel in the house. I think that might be part of the editing reason why they did. But anyway, they're explaining to us that it's a pond. That literally the water's up to my chest, and they give this whole long thing about if you get caught, and we're wearing life jackets, and they're like, if you have any trouble, we have a rescue team. They're standing right over there. They show waves. The rescue team waves. So they have this whole thing. I'm like, why are they going over it so much that they have a rescue team? Well, we had to spell out 4 words. And, there's 20 of us, or there's 17 of us like kayaking around. The words were lie, L-I-E, SOS, pay, P-A-Y, and clue. So after the 4th word clue, I'm like, okay, this is where my head goes. If you lie about needing an SOS, you get paid in a clue. Lie, SOS, pay, clue. Okay, so I tipped my boat over. Again, we're in water that all I had to do was stand up. I'm like, help, help. Like, everybody is yelling, Steve, stand up, stand up, stand up. I'm like, I can't. They're like, oh, he's panicking. And the guys come and they rescue me. So I'm waiting for my clue. I'm like, Claire did it after me. Claire was a gamer, by the way. But so I'm like waiting for my clue. We go into the clue room. I don't get a clue. I'm like, so that was kind of where my lie. So after I did that, I went around and told everybody. And again, there's a lot of gaslighting in my game. I was just like, guys, lie, SOS, pay, clue. How is that even ambiguous? Of course I got a clue.
Right.
And so I was doing things like that, but if they're not showing the challenge, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I, and most of my hijinks at that point were in challenges. There was a thing about where we were looking for grains of rice, and I memorized all the numbers that were on these grains of rice because I can still recite the numbers a year later. That's something I can do, and it didn't make the edit. So it kind of didn't make sense to have me in episodes 2, 3, or episode 4 was Cynthia and Stein's escape. That's their episode, and it should be.
Right. It should be.
And so episode 5, they don't really, and Doodles and Athena are getting together. And so, I mean, okay, I personally like every single person that was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But the Doodles and Athena thing's happening, and then the Susan and Demi Open Sesame thing's happening, and there's like this date that I'm like, what show? Where am I? What, like, and when Cynthia and Stein left, I kind of got a little bit lecture dad like, because I was just like, this is what happens when we're making meatballs. This is what happens when we're going on dates. This is what happens when we're just being nonsense. We lose $300,000, everybody. Are we going to do this again and lose $300,000 more?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad they didn't show that because I was kind of a jerk. But I was annoyed. I was really annoyed. So when I come back in episode 6, the jail, I'm like, okay, I understand why I was gone for a little bit. And also the big reveal in episode 8 wouldn't have worked as a big reveal if I had been there the whole time. You can't miss me if I don't go away. So,
right. I do have a question though. How long were you in those trash cans?
A long time.
No.
a long time. Like there was a dispute. I was complaining about something. Can't get into it, but they kind of started timing it from when the lid went down. And to me, the minute that my ass is in that trash can, even if I'm sitting I am in the trash can. Like,
absolutely.
Bring the truck. Here I am. Like,
Right.
So there, whatever. I was there for a long time. I was there for long enough that, as you guys like to say, I was especially then, I was a whole lot of man. And I'm trying, the reason why.
Certainly a whole lot of man, sir. A whole lot of man. Yep.
I was, it was still half full with
paper.
So I was really struggling to take a deep breath the way I was, and so it's like I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and then I hear open sesame happening. I'm like, oh, I guess that really was a thing. I didn't believe that was a thing until I heard the time. And I'm not able to breathe, and I'm thinking there was a point where I thought the jig is I have to stand up or something, because the way I'm folded over just isn't working.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
And yes, in hindsight is 2020. I should have come running out there, emptied the can, gotten in, pulled it back. But I didn't know. I knew
how
that
much time you had.
I didn't know how much time I had. I knew it couldn't be seen from the watchtower, but there's windows all throughout. Right. And there was one picture window that was facing my trash can. And I didn't realize until later that was the room where we got our clues. So that room was always closed off. I was thinking it was the place right next to it where Doodles and Athena had their date, which you could have seen.
Right.
Where you could stand by and look out. But that one was facing, it's just, I had more time than I thought I had.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And again, you're not thinking straight. You're thinking $200,000. And it's, I mean, we talk about the $200,000, which of course is like life-changing for me. But also, you're also thinking, I'm going to win. I like there's this adrenaline that goes through that has nothing to do with the money. It's like, I'm going to win this game. I'm going to, this is going to be awesome.
And especially as a lifelong reality TV fan, I can only imagine the holy fuck, oh my God, this is about to happen. Exactly. I can only imagine everything rushing through your head all at once.
Yeah. And I mean, and on top of it all, I would have hated, that was day 4. I would have hated to leave on day 4 because there was so much more to play. But then again, I would have consoled myself with $222,000.
Absolutely.
I'd be okay. Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
So another question containing the trash can, and I don't know if you could talk about it or not, but I had a huge problem with this whole situation and this whole scenario of if you're going to have someone be able to get into this trash can to actually leave the game, and you're going to do another chance for somebody to escape at the exact same time, why do we then allow other people who had nothing to do with said escape go outside of the house? I had a huge problem with that because I felt like that was a setup, and them letting them out of the house truly sets you up to get caught, when the whole purpose of the whole recycling being in the thing was an easy escape for somebody to get out. So did you have a problem with that? I had a problem with that because I personally was like, production, step to the front. This is a setup and it ain't right. And y'all owe Steve $222,000 because y'all just robbed him of $222,000. Now, I don't know if you can talk about it, and that's fine. If you can't, I'm going to talk about it because production gets screwed up and you owe this man $222,000. Now, if that means I can't get on your show, I get it. It's fine. I ain't worried about it. But you owe this man $222,000.
Here's what I'm going to say. I love you. That's what I'm going to say. I love
you. And here's what I will say. I concur.
Period.
I concur.
I just had to get that. I just had to get that part out because it's been bothering me since I watched it. But okay, we move.
I can say this part about it. I did raise concerns after that. Whatever happened after that, whatever. But I raised concerns. I give a lot of grace to the fact, okay, it's a new show with people who haven't necessarily done a show like this. And we're kind of in some uncharted territory here. Did we just lose her?
We lost her. She'll be back shortly.
Okay. So should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So, I understand that. I understand that that they probably were trying to figure out what to do because technically speaking, when they pressed the button on Susan and Demi, I was already in the trash can.
Yeah.
So does that mean that everybody out of the house is now tagged out? Does it mean Susan and Demi are tagged out?
Exactly. Like what is the logistics of this situation?
And I'm gonna bring her up to speed here.
Oh, I heard everything you said. Don't worry.
Okay, great. So I give some grace to that. I'm like, do I want $222,000? Yes, I do. Did I advocate for myself? Yes, I did. Was I willing to keep playing that game? Absolutely.
Totally. I think that's a completely fair assessment, and that's something that we definitely brought up as well, as you probably heard. Like, it's a season 1, it's a brand new show, like you said, with people that may not be as familiar with reality TV, structuring and competitive reality TV stuff. And Hulu is not, as known for competitive reality TV gaming as some of the other major streaming sites are. So as much as it may have been like, was it the correct decision at that time? I'm going to say no, because this is our podcast and I have the autonomy to say no, I don't think it was the right decision.
No.
And I completely agree with you, Lana. I think this man is owed $222,000. That's where I stand on the matter. I wish I could. But...
I'll take Cash App. I'll take Zell me the money. It's fine.
Absolutely. But on the same side of that token, I will say, it's a brand new show. There is obviously some grace that needs to be given.
Yes.
They have great format. I have nothing but positive things to say about the show because at the end of the day, I was entertained from episode 1 to the end of the damn season. Every single moment I watched the show, I was entertained. I have recommended it to every single person I know that watches competitive reality TV, and every single person I've recommended it to has absolutely loved it. But there are a lot of things that can be improved upon.
Yes.
And those are some things. And that's the number one thing that I want to convey, if nothing else. Love the show. Love the format. Just some tweaks and some touches and some things need to be improved. But it's a season 1. That's how every Survivor season 1 was not perfect. Big Brother season 1 was nowhere near perfect. They changed the whole
thing. They changed the whole
thing. It's amazing that I watched season 2 after season 1 of
right.
I'll say this. They made, in my opinion, the absolute right choice to lean in on the comedy of the show.
Yes.
So the show comes out on midnight, on the night it comes out, and we're all watching it. Like, we're all watching it and texting each other. And I start watching, and like the very first thing where you see the Got to Get Out logo and that little stick figure just like plops onto the ground, I was like, okay, I know what I'm about to see here. Mm-hmm. And because it's funny and because the episodes are all 40 something minutes and there's only 8 of them, it's just like, it kind of just goes. It's like eating cotton candy. Like, before you know it, the cotton candy's gone. You've eaten this whole thing of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was 100% the right choice, considering that we didn't have a $600,000 winner, because of me.
Well, yes.
Yes, you did. We'll talk about that in game because
I want to. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would have. I threw a little bit of a tantrum when it happened. It was not my finest moment. I got over it, and I'm like, I'm going back in and playing this game because, first of all, I'm never going to have this opportunity again. What am I going to do? Quit? What am I going to do? Sue them? What am I going to like? What's going to happen? Let me play this game. It's fun. And as much as the life-changing money would be, I did okay for 10 days worth of work.
You did.
So.
You absolutely did. Absolutely did. Okay. Now we saw the shift happen when Stein left. Stein and Cynthia got their escape, and it happened. One shout out to Stein and Cynthia because they ate that up. They ate that up.
They did.
I
give them 100%. That was, and there was talk like, oh, did Stein run through the grass and he shouldn't have? They won that money. They earned that money. Yeah. They played it perfectly. And I'm going to also say this. I was very, very happy. I was worried. I have nothing but good things to say about the editors of this show. I was worried, like, okay, is Stein was the runner, but the mastermind was Cynthia.
Yes.
And I didn't want Cynthia to be overlooked as just somebody who was brought along. I'm just gonna say it. I didn't want the white guy to get like,
yeah,
with the black
period.
I did it. And I was like, and there was part of me that thought, because it's more flashy to run than to not push the button. I hope, and they did a great job of explaining.
They did.
And you know what? I believe that there's no two people in the house that could have worked with other than those two.
I agree.
Anybody else running, it wouldn't have worked. They would have been suspicious. Yeah. Like Stein was so easygoing that after he left, like the day that he was gone,
and
the money clock went down to zero, and everybody's like, "Well, we're all here." Stein was so under the radar because what you saw about what we would see of Stein is walk in the kitchen in the morning, be like, "Hey, brother,
hey everybody, hey brother."
I love that.
Hey, and he's just he was there. He was like a very positive force in the house for sure. Or not, force isn't the right word. He was a positive addition to the house, but was he the one that you're counting around who's that there? You're like, oh yeah, Stein. Like, because Stein didn't cause any drama. Stein was just there, like eating.
He was a good time dude.
Good time dude. It's like, and if there's somebody that was probably a little bit underestimated in the house, it would have been Stein.
Oh,
it's like Survivor with Fabio, who like walks away with the whole game, and he was way smarter than you think that he was. He's just a surfer dude. There's something about surfer dudes that like you're just like, oh yeah, bless his heart.
Right.
And
you always, if there's a surfer dude in a competitive reality TV show, you align with the surfer dude.
I mean, for sure. It happened on Big Brother. And look, Tyler from Big Brother. Just those good hang time dudes are the ones you want to, because they athletic for no reason at all. Like, for no reason. You're like, why are you this cool?
Because their life
because you're a surfer.
Athletic. Yeah. It's like the things, okay, if I had spent all the time that I've spent watching reality TV, if I spent all that time surfing or snowboarding, I would look like Stein.
Absolutely.
I would have that body. I don't. My leisure time is sitting in front of the TV with a bag of something to eat.
Same.
Like whatever. And so
all three of us, yep.
I mean, so Stein and Cynthia, I will always say that I would like to say that I believe that my strategy was in a different area than theirs, but they won the game.
Yeah,
they won the game, and they get credit for that. Like
I think the thing, Cynthia was just so underestimated. Nobody thought Cynthia was going to have the mastermind to do any of this thing. She's not going to come up with a plan. Even if she get an extra strategy, nobody's going to believe she'll pull it off, because she's going to be like the rest of the housewives, just running around doing nothing. No, she sat at that button and she made sure the entire house trusted her to sit at that button.
I trust
everybody Nobody trusted her. Nobody was going to question Cynthia sitting at that button. And literally, that is what I said I would do. I was like, I'm sitting at the button because I can't run. I'm not going to be
Right.
the runner. That's not happening for me. I'm going to find out ways that make people trust me. Either I'm going to sit at the watchtower or I'm going to sit on the button. Now, but my vision, the watchtower ain't for me. So I can't see that far. So somebody can run in the
Right.
middle of the night and they just getting past me. So that's not for me. But the button I can do. If you make that whole house trust you, now it's not going to work again. This is not going to work
No,
in next season. This is never going to work again.
work. But
But
I
Unless people don't
remember
watch it.
looking and
unless
being like,
nobody watched it, right?
I remember being like, okay, Cynthia's on the button. So who's up in the watch? Like, you don't even, I never thought that she was, and the stupid thing about it is that Cynthia said to me at one point, just like she did with Doodles and everything, you know, hey, look, if you got something, we'll work together. You know, I can cover the button and somebody else can cover the whatever and whatever.
Right. She
And now
said
I
that
look
to
back and
me.
I'm like, she
You said
literally
it could have
told
been
me.
you.
She literally
You
told me.
and
And
you
the
said it. You said that could have been me.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
could have been me. I remember you saying that.
And
And
the
it's,
way that we all watched her on Celebrity Big Brother 2,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the way that I came on here and I was so proud of her. I
Yes.
was so proud of her. I was just like, yes, ma'am. Because she's one of my favorite housewives. I'm not a huge Housewives fan, but I do love her because she's just a personality. And when she was announced on this season, I was like, okay, let's see what she's gonna do here. Let's see what she's learned.
Because we just
I
saw her on
was
Traders. Because we just saw
exactly.
her on Traders. So we
I'm
like
like, let's see what the train. This is all led up to this has all been training for her. Let's
yeah.
see where the training's gone, and it paid off for her. And I was so damn proud of her.
Yeah.
Like I
I
love
mean,
to see it.
and not to mention that Cynthia was just, she was so fun to have around. You know, so after Susan and Demi came and did that whole, we have $222,000, you know, the open sesame thing and everything.
My favorite. I just have to say, two of my favorite people on this season.
not,
I love
but okay.
I love Susan, and I loved Demi beforehand. Demi's one of my favorite reality TV people of all time, just simply because of how outspoken she's been against that evil, destructive man. But I just love her, and autistic sister, I love her dearly. But Susan has become one of my favorite fucking people ever.
So one of the things I noticed while watching the show, and actually you see me say it at one point, this is how ingrained reality TV is with me. I use a lot of phrases and things that I've seen on reality TV. So Susan comes and she's doing this whole thing. I'm down by the button and she's like, Demi, my girl, we're going to do 222. I'm sitting there while Spencer's like, I'm going to push the button on you. And I get up and Cynthia and Stein are standing by the pool table. And I'm like, did you just hear that? I'm like, and I say word for word, the words, okay, I'm going to set the scene.
Great.
Survivor, Micronesia, when Serene tells Natalie to get the immunity necklace from Eric.
Yes.
She says, who would fall for that? I feel just stupid listening to you right now. And I said the same thing. It just kind of tumbled out. I said it because I'm like, who would fall for 220 open sesame? It doesn't make any sense. And so I'm doing this whole thing with Stein and Cynthia where I'm just like, I'm going through it and everything. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. They're like, they did everything but jazz hands at the end. It's just such a stupid. As it turns out, that was my undoing because the open sesame is what got me caught. But I just, you know, it was so much fun to watch these people play these different games and not understand it. And, you know, Susan, it's like, are you serious right now? And, you know, her falling asleep. We talked about that.
I loved it. I loved it so much. Just, I love a good strategic game player, obviously. I love a good mastermind. I love someone who can come up with a good strategic plan and execute it. and, you know, Cynthia and Stein were great, and you were great, and, you know, Spencer's plans were great, and Omarosa's plans were great. Former track star Omarosa, love it. Gorgeous, phenomenal. But there is something about Susan that I just fell in.
That just drives me crazy.
One of my favorite, and I know I keep bringing up Survivor, it's just my thing.
No, I love it. Please do.
One of my favorite types of contestant on Survivor is, and I'm not saying this about Susan, saying about the old lady who makes it inexplicably far in the season by just being the baddie woman who's doing, like, you know, Jan from Thailand or whatever, just like she's
so Sue Smee.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
There she is.
So Julie from 45, yes.
Yes, all of
right,
them.
yes.
All of them. You know, Lydia from Guatemala. It's like, there she is.
Oh!
Like, you know,
you are... Lydia's one of my favorite Survivor people of all time.
So there's part of me that says, and if I were going to get down to some of my issue with, like, the new era of Survivor, it's great that you're casting 18 people who, like, know the game backwards and forwards, but sometimes it's fun for not everybody to be a super fan. Sometimes it's fun for not everybody to be a strategist. It's fun to watch people learn as they go. It's fun to watch people, you know, it's fun to have a mixture. And if I had to recast my, first of all, if I had to recast my season, I'd cast the same 20 people. I love these people. But if I had to cast another season, I would cast some people who are going to play really hard and some people who aren't necessarily, because sometimes that can be a valuable tool for somebody who is playing hard to align with somebody who is learning as they go. You know, so I like a mixture of it. So Susan kept us laughing. Susan was very kind. You know, there was one moment that I got, emotional is not the right word for it, but a little bit in my feelings. It was after we were sitting by the cage. I remember that. So it had to be after the cage was introduced. And, you know, the money is still going up and nobody's getting out. And I'm thinking to myself, I can prevent people from getting out, but how am I gonna, I need the money. And she's like, you know, Steve, you know, what is your situation? And so I was like, you know, she's like, do you live large? I'm like, I don't live large. I just have 6 teenagers. You know, I'm a single dad. You know, I have had a really good career when it comes to, like, I won an Emmy, but it doesn't make me, it's not, I don't have just, I earn deceptively less than what you would think I earn for the work that the work I do. So it's like, yes, I have, you know, $50,000, which we would have each gotten, is enough to pay the mortgage on my house for a couple of years. You know, it's a significant amount of money. And, you know, every month I do my budget, and every month I'm like, okay, this month I have an extra $400. This month, I'm not rich. So yes, this money means something to me, and it really does. And Susan was the one celebrity there who understood that. And she's like, yeah, she's like, you know, I said, you know, I'm doing okay. I'm not about to lose the house. I'm not going to, you know, my kids aren't going to starve. They're going to get to go to college, but it's not like, you know, I'm not doing this for, you know, $50,000 so I can buy a purse with it, you know, like somebody might. You know, I'm doing it because, you know, every dollar that I get fuels my life, you know, and my middle class life. So,
yeah, I love that. And hearing that about her honestly makes me love her even more, because you just got that, like, you got that sense from her. And I watched her on Golden Bachelor, and I did really love her. Just that sweetness, that bubbly personality. And she's just fucking nuts in the absolute best possible way. And those are the people that I absolutely love. So shout out to Susan. But
the best thing about Susan, though, was, like, she was always the one, they would be explaining the rules to the challenge, and she would be turning to talk to somebody about a recipe or about, you know, something else. And then the challenge would happen, and she'd be like, what do we do? It's like, they went over this, Susan. They
We
Susan,
just talked about this. We just talked about
we
this.
just talked about this, Susan.
But I love her, so I really do. So
Let's talk about this in game though, because
please.
your in game, I have to. It was like you did the complete 180. Like you went from I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here to, you know what? Never mind. None of us is getting out of here because if I can't get out of here, ain't none of us going. I respect that so much because it's like I could either keep trying to get out and win 100, 200, $300,000, or and keep getting caught and keep getting this target built on my back more and more and more. I'm gonna be beyond liar, Steve. I'm gonna be liar and crazy and warped sense of whatever, Steve. Like it's gonna be ridiculous. And it felt like insanity. Like you kept trying to get out, kept trying to get out, and you just kept losing. After a while, I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Let's figure this out. And that's what you did. You just like shifted.
So here's the thing. That shift actually happened earlier than they gave me credit for.
Okay.
I pulled the button disabler thing 6 times in the house on different people. And it was a direct result of after Cynthia and Stein left, and now I'm doing the math. And of course, Claire leaves and Jill leaves. So now I do the math. I'm like, okay, it's $43,000. I'm not getting exit strategies. It's just not happening. You know, the random ones that didn't bounce. The ball wasn't bouncing my way. And so I'm like, all right, I've got to figure something out here. I got to figure out what to do. So the first time I did the exit, the button disabler was on day 6. And I was working with Steven, Rob, and Val. And it I was like, I have a button disabler. And everybody's like, what? What's the other thing? So we had this whole plan. Rob was going to be up there. I was going to be down by the button. Val was going to run because he had the exit strategy. Steven was doing some distracting by the window. Like the 4 of us were working together. So they asked me, how do you activate it? You know, there were things like the meatballs and everything. So I'm like, so Rob or somebody, I have to get somebody in the house to feed me, to make something for me to eat. And then I will put the dish in the dishwasher. And the second that I do that, then the button's disabled. So Rob made me a sandwich. I sat there and ate it. I'm like, this is delicious. Put the thing, and so we do the run for it. And Val almost makes it. Shane ended up hitting the button on us. And Shane comes running over to the button, and he was so freaked out that he thought Val was getting out that he's hitting the button. And if this is the button and you're supposed to hit it like this, he's so panicked. He's hitting it from the side. He had to hit it about 8 times before he hit it right.
Oh, wow.
And everybody's standing around watching that. And I just kind of stood there with a smile on my face. And I was just like, see? And everybody believed from that moment on that the button disabler was a thing. And it was a fluke. Shane helped me sell that one. So then I'm like, So I would make sure that people would see me doing the most unhinged things. Like at one point, I walked around and was saying love poems to everybody. I would go I ran up to Demi and like, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you, and I'd walk away. And she'd be like, what? What was that? What was that? And so I was doing these things because I had to, I couldn't just be like, I'm randomly getting these things. I'm figuring out this. Another time, I mean, it's just like, it's such random, silly stuff. I never worked out in that house. One day Rob walks by and I'm on the exercycle, and I'm like drinking a soda on the exercycle. And he's like, what were you doing? I was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Also, everybody trusted Rob, but they didn't trust me.
Yeah.
So to use Survivor Kagion, nobody trusted Tony. They trusted Trish.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, he's going to be my Trish. So I would tell, and I knew he was backstabbing me all the time. So I would go up to Rob and be like, don't tell anybody, but there's another button disabler. I got it. And I'd be like, do not tell anybody. And like a few minutes later, Omarosa would come in and be like, so Steve, I hear you have a button disabler. They believed Rob. They believed it coming from Rob. They wouldn't have believed it coming from me.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so I was trying. Another time, they would always say to us, the producers would say, "Come and get your clues." Or come and get your clue. And we would line up and we'd go in randomly. We had to decide the order we were going in because that's how it was randomized. And one time I came out, I just hung around the clue room and kind of came out. I was one of the first to go in. I came out from like a couch behind it near the end. And Rob was like, didn't you already get a clue? I said, you didn't hear? They've always said, come everybody and get your clue. Today they said, come and get your clues. So every time when somebody would go in, I would go in and try and get another clue. And I did it 4 times. And I got 3 no exit strategies and I got the button disabler. And he believed it. And it's just, you have to do it.
Okay.
You have to go for it. So they believed it. And so I really was at that point, since I didn't have an exit strategy of my own, I thought if I could get more of these that I can get in, if somebody gets out, maybe they're going to credit me anyway. I have no way to really stop them anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe they're going to credit me for it. But more likely than not, since I know when they're going to go, I'm going to keep them from getting out. So I hit the button a lot on a lot of people. I foiled a couple for Gino. I foiled a couple for Val. This may be giving myself too much credit, but there were days where I was like, yeah, nobody's going out because I know where everybody is. I know what's happening today. And I did not know about the one where Rashad came tumbling down the stairs. That one I didn't know about.
Okay.
Like that one, Rashad said, like that we almost lost $600,000 there.
With Val, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing. I mean, you can't get too personally involved with it because I had been in a alliance with Val, Steven, and Rob a couple days earlier. It didn't work out, and then they worked with Spencer, and it would have cut me out. Like everything was changing, and so Gino and I, if you see when I call Athena over for the button disabler, I'm sitting next to Gino. He's sitting right there. He's listening in on the whole thing. And he knew that I didn't have a button disabler that day. But he was on defense because he didn't have anything. And so my whole thing was, if I'm not getting out of here, I'm going to mess your plan up. I don't care how I have to do it. I don't. I don't care if I'm the one who has to hit the button or if Yane is going to hit the button or what. But it's defense. And it worked.
It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
Certainly did.
It worked well because, like, the ones that they showed us that you foiled were the 2 plans that you were directly involved in. We didn't see all the plans that you were involved in because of the button disabler, but we saw you were directly involved with the Athena and Doodles plan, and then the other one. And I was like, oh my god! I mean, it gets to that point for me. It would have gotten to that point for me. Like, if I can't get out, nobody's getting out of here.
Right.
And we all gonna go home with, look, I'm leaving with something. As Denzel Washington say, I'm gonna leave with something. I'm not leaving here empty handed. I'm gonna leave here with something. So,
and I think it's also human nature where it's like, all right, we're on day 6 and 7 and everybody's been lying to each other and I'm still called Liar Steve. And there's part of me that's like, okay, you want Liar Steve? I'll
give you that.
Great. If that's literally what you're calling me, then what amazed me is how many people would call me Liar Steve and then buy into the lie. And it's like, isn't it like literally in my name that I'm Liar Steve? Like, and I think there was some level of stir crazy. I mean, we were exhausted. I think there was some of that. I, having raised 6 kids, probably can function on less sleep than some people, and raise them without nannies. So, but there was some level of me being confused that nobody was calling me out for what to me was like just total bullshit. And it's, if there's one thing I learned about human nature, it's nobody believes the little lies. But if it's like big and it's so big that it doesn't even make any sense. For some reason, people buy that a lot more. I went in for 4 clues. Like, no. Like,
well, and I think the beauty of that is, to go back to what you were talking about earlier, you had, in the Dr. Will kind of way, you had built up your target so big that it's like people didn't know whether, at that point, so late in the game, people didn't know whether to believe you, to work with you, to, I don't know, almost fear you, to not believe a word out of your mouth, to trust you. Like, because people at that point knew that you, like, they knew you knew what you were doing, obviously.
Right.
But it's like, do you work with this person? Do you play with the devil you know or the devil you don't? Like, it's a lot of different factors. Plus, you add on the exhaustion of it all, the constantly shifting, like, fluid alliances, like you had been talking about. It's like, do I work with this person who has a track record of, hi, you're called Liar Steve in the house? Like, do you continue that track record? Do you work with this person? Or, like, it's the dichotomy of that. And I think you balance that so perfectly, especially in the end game, where it came to the point where people were like, no, okay, I guess I will trust him. Because at this point, everyone's so desperate to get something other than $43,000 that it's like, okay, I'll work with the bush outside. I'll work with the kitchen sink. I'll work with the oat milk in the fridge. Like, I'll work with anything and anyone at this point. I'll work with Spencer walking out as a fake production member in order to get out of here with anything.
Which was brilliant. He could have got away with it if he did not stuff his shirt.
Yeah.
I'm like, if he didn't stuff his shirt, he probably would have got away with it.
We had production members all the time, just everywhere.
Yeah. So. Well, and I was going to ask you as well, of the plans you weren't involved in, what were the ones that you were the most impressed by?
That honestly was the best plan to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to give Lindsay some love here because she got such a terrible,
horrible edit. We didn't know who she was.
And the thing is, she was
prepared.
the only person who came prepared with something to wear because she didn't know what it was going to be. And like, I've seen people online are like, yeah, she wears it, but she runs down the driveway. I'm like, that's the rules. Like,
that's the rules. She has to do that.
And it made for a good fight moment. But it's like, you know, she was somebody who I think got the short end of an edit. And she and Shane were people that they flipped it. The Doodles and Athena one was the second to last, and the last one was Shane and Lindsay. And there was part of me, believe it or not, there was part of me that thought to myself, and I say this in love, Kim's up on the watchtower. She's not wearing her glasses today. She wears glasses. I'm like, there's a chance that, and she didn't. Shane might have made it if he didn't grunt and scream the whole time. And then there's the point where, every time you just have to be like, well, what happened was, you know, this person, you kept come up with an excuse why it didn't work.
Yeah.
People didn't realize that the button disabler wasn't a thing until we had all gotten the money. We all ran out to the limo. Then they brought us all back in the house, and we packed up our clothes and everything.
Well, yeah.
We were all sitting in the living room, and the first person I told was Gino. He was sitting next to me. I'm like, so the button disabler actually isn't a thing. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, that never existed in this game. There was never a way to disable the button. And then he called everybody over. He's like, Steve, tell them what you just told me. And I told them, I thought people were going to throw things at me, but it was more like, all right, good game. Like, you know, I did what I had to do.
You did. Were you a little disappointed that you had to settle for $43,000 instead of going for a higher amount of money?
Yes, I was, but I'm going to preface it with, and maybe I need to develop more of a killer instinct about things. I was more than happy to take 200 and something thousand at the beginning and say to the other 19 people, there's $800,000 left, figure it out. by. It would have been a lot harder for me if that same thing happened and I was going to literally leave everybody with $1,000 each. I would have felt that would have been a little harder for me to do. I probably would have done it, but there came a point, and I say it in the show, you see it, where I'm like, what, everybody's going to get $800 now? Because that's the number I figured out that we get. But if Shane and Lindsay had gotten out and split the money with me, I would have taken it. Like,
of course.
So there was a little bit of, I wanted to screw people over, but I didn't want to like devastatingly screw them over. I am more than happy to, your 50 now has become 40,000 each. I was more than happy to play that game. I was disappointed that I wasn't getting exit strategies. So the only choice I had was to get hardcore defensive. I would have loved an exit strategy and figured out something. I would have loved an exit strategy when the dollar figure had gotten up to another 300 that I could split with two people. Each of us gets $100,000. And then now there's $400,000 left for the 10 of you guys. Figure it out from there. Like that would have been ideal, but it wasn't in the cards. So.
I was going to ask you if you would have gotten the first $200,000 and you have made that alliance with Rob and Athena, firefighter Athena. Would you have split that at that point, or would you have taken that 200,000 and just dipped? Either way, I would have been like, yeah.
So here's the thing: the trash can was $222,000. At that point, nobody was talking with me. That money was mine, 100%. $222,000. I didn't have the alliance with Athena on the challenge that Rob and I won. I had that alliance with Rob. Had I won that money and Rob hadn't done his little speech, his little boohoo speech, I might have considered it. But that $100,000, when I was driving that car, in my head for $111,500.
Absolutely.
That was the money I was taking home. And they had kept talking about in the clue room, okay, take the key to your car, So there was a little part of me, they never made it clear, and I doubt it was, but there was a little part
do I get to keep this car? Right.
It's like, maybe I'm going to make an argument that this car is now mine. Like maybe I'll just take it.
Right. Do I get the 111 and the car?
Yeah. It's like, So neither of those wasn't really in the cards for me to split the money with. Now, had I felt like Rob was covering for me while I got into the trash can or something like that, yes. But I didn't feel like there was any obligation to just because I like you to split the money with you. If you didn't help,
absolutely
no, of course not.
Yeah.
And everybody in that house except for firefighter Athena tried to get out at some point, and
we know.
Yeah, and I love firefighter Athena. She's I would literally trust my life to her, but it was very frustrating to try and play a game with somebody who's like, no, I'm just going to do defense, and it's like, but that's not why we're hired. That's not why we're here. And if somebody had been revisionist history, and I always hated it when people got off Survivor and be like, I could have been. I was like, no, you couldn't. But I do say, if I could have gotten a couple people to actually work with me, a couple strategists to work with me, Cynthia and Stein wouldn't have the money. I would have had the money with somebody else. But nobody would work with me. And it's like, if nobody's working with me, what am I going to do? It's 19 against 1 at this point. And I probably sound more frustrated about it than I am. I'm not at all frustrated. Like I had a 10-day experience of a lifetime that gave me $43,000 to do it. I got to be in a mansion in Canada with reality stars. I got to be on TV. I got to do podcasts. It's really a first world problem that I could have won more.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean that's $4,300 a day. I don't earn $4,300 a day. Like, it's like,
Hello.
so
Right.
so I coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I won. I won
You
$4,300
did.
on TV. So
Great. I love that.
So would you do another reality show? And if you
call
would,
me.
what show would you do?
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
I hear
What
you.
show?
Anything.
What show would you want to do the most?
I mean, so I would probably, everybody would say Traders, and I love Traders. I watched $1 Million Secret, and I was like, I could have done
We
that.
loved. No, we
Did
loved.
this-
We said the same thing about Got to Get Out that we said about $1 Million Secret. Great first season, amazing. Like the little details, everything about it was so good. Minor tweaks needed.
Yep.
But the format and the strategy was perfection.
I said I will do it in a heartbeat.
I would do it in a heartbeat too.
A very different game than what I played, but I was just like, I watched it. I actually, because it came out before Got to Get Out, and I watched it, and I actually texted a couple people from the cast. I was like, oh gosh, it's because I hadn't seen ours. Yeah, I'm like, that's so much better than our show. They're just two different shows.
They're two different shows, but they're so entertaining.
Two different sides of the same coin.
Exactly. So it's like, I love my show. I love that show, but I watched it and I was like, all the things in my mind. What would I do? Would I want? When do I want to become the millionaire? I certainly don't want it at first. Could I make? Because basically with $1 Million Secret, if you make it through 2 times, you usually can get rid of it. So it's like, then do you tell people that? I was here for it. I would love to do that. I would love to do Traders, of course. Survivor Big Brother, I don't think it's a big time commitment. I would, I'll just say it, if we were talking about Survivor 6 years ago, I'd be like, Survivor, just put me on, put me on. Like, the show has changed, the game has changed. It's not the same as it really felt back then. I still watch it, I still love it, but
absolutely.
I would normally say Survivor if we were talking about any of the first 35 seasons of Survivor, but really any of the first 40. But now that's not on my bucket list. Whatever the new, I see things all the time that are like golden ticket. I'm like, what is that? Let me start. When's my contract up? Can I, I'll do anything. Just put me on. You're there to play a game. Like, what? We don't get to play games in life. So.
Right. I kind of would love to see you on Deal or No Deal Island, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think the strategic, of course, the luck part of it is the crazy part of the game, whatever. But I would love to see how you manipulate and strategically get through the challenges and then the politics of it all. I would love that, actually.
I would love that. Obviously, just watching these shows, you think about what you would do. And the funny thing is, even watching my show now, I'm watching it and I'm like, from the couch thinking, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. Because there is an infinite number of ways to play a game like that.
Yes.
And, actually, somebody, a big reality star dropped out of my game a couple days before and didn't show up. I'll tell you off.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Off camera.
Yeah. And if you notice, there's 11 women and 9 men.
I did notice that.
Because a man dropped out. Actually, 2 dropped out. They brought in Gino. He was the alternate. They brought him up. And then
Gino was an alternate?
As he should be. Hello.
I love Gino.
I'm just saying that from having the knowledge that he was on Big Brother Canada.
Like I said, like he should be. He was on Big Brother, but it was Big Brother Canada, and we go not sit here and act like Big Brother Canada is just as big as Big Brother.
But it was filmed in Canada. Like, knowing now that it was filmed in Canada, I guess it makes sense. But
it was filmed in Toronto. He lives in Toronto.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
that is why he was the alternate.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's fair then.
So and I like to think about it. I'm like, so I don't know which woman was the alternate. Like one of these 11 women. I think we can rule out Omarosa.
Yeah.
She wasn't the alternate,
Safely.
Safely, Omarosa, Cynthia, Kim. They not it. They
so
not
it was
it.
probably one of the two Athenas or Lindsay or somebody was an alternate. And, but, it's interesting to think. So what you take one person out and throw another person in,
Right.
It's a completely different game. So,
every single season of every single game that has ever happened is an individual microcosm. Like you take one, like, and I think about that with like situations like Claire on Big Brother, where like you take Miss Loud out of the game, you put Claire in. What would have happened if we had Christy in the game instead of Claire? Like, how would that season have been different? Claire and Derek X would have not gone on to now be dating and would not have gone on to win $1 million on The Amazing Race.
Right.
Like, the entire microcosm of that is, like, nuts.
I get myself, I love it. This is so nerdy, but, so, again, we'll talk about Survivor for a minute. Denise, who won Survivor, if she's on the previous season, which was the one that Kim Spradlin won, Denise is the first one out. Mm-hmm. It's like, you just switch two people and a winner becomes a loser becomes a winner. It's just, it's just, it's amazing how these games are. So, replace any one of these, even somebody who you think was insignificant in a season, it changes everything. Absolutely. So, I'm just glad I got to be there because I was not convinced even when they flew me up there that I wasn't an alternate, just because, I wanted it so bad to be on the show. Like but they came to me, but by the time I got to this point, I wanted it. And they sent me an email that was like, we would like to invite you to come to Canada as part of our group. I'm sure they sent it to everybody, the same thing.
Yeah.
Part of our group of contestants and alternates. I was like,
I'm an alternate.
It says alternate. It says alternate. I'm an alternate. And they just send that to everybody, because they, to cover themselves. So I was, even when we were in the hotel, I was like, I'm not going to let myself really believe it until I'm in this mansion and they're like, this is how the game is played.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. I've heard too many horror stories of people who are like, they fly out to Fiji and then they fly home from Fiji. And
right.
I didn't want, so I didn't tell a lot of people because I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, that thing, what I meant to say, I was an alternate. So,
right.
I mean, because in your brain, and not saying anything like no shade of tea, but in your mind, you just regular Steve.
Yeah.
I just write. I wrote for People Magazine, but I won an Emmy, but I'm still just Steve. Like nobody really knows.
Right.
No,
me.
Nobody but my personal group of friends.
Right.
Has subscribed to Hulu to watch me. People have subscribed to Hulu to watch Spencer. And I understand that, and that's so there's part of me that's like, and then of course I actually had, paranoia happens really fast in a show like this. I got in the show and it was like day 2. We have 2 women named Athena.
Yep.
We have 2 people who have tattoos of the goddess Athena on their bodies. I'm not kidding. Gino and Shane both do.
Oh, I was going to say it's not both Athenas.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting there with some reality stars who I kind of know, some who I don't, a random firefighter who says she wasn't on a show, some guy named Doodles. And I actually thought to myself, we all have main character syndrome. I'm like, is this a joke? Like, they called me for this. I didn't apply.
Right.
Am I being punked in some way?
Is this like the Truman Show? Like they all are actors and actresses, and I'm the one that's being stupid and don't know this is real? This is not real?
It was a roundabout.
The Joe Schmo Show.
Yeah, and I'm like, I ended up getting a car thing, and then it was around the time of the I just had this whole thing with the recycling bin. Nobody else is really trying. other than that one thing Doodles did. And I got really in my head, like, this is like, this could be bad if this is like, and it's like, how narcissistic can one person be to think that we're going to hire Omarosa to punk you?
Absolutely.
But it really did mess with my head, if that makes any sense at all.
They're going to hire Spencer Pratt
and Omarosa to punk you.
And Kim Zolciak. Absolutely.
To do a joke on Steve Helen.
100%. 100%. I love the delusion, darling. I love the delusion.
But no, I mean, and that's going through my head. I'm like, of course that's not true. But then it's like, okay, Steve, we need to see you for confessionals. I'm like, okay, like, Claire is giving me a lecture on integrity. I'm like, what is, and there was this moment where I was like, it felt so surreal that I was like, maybe I am in a coma. And this is my delusion. I'm going to wake up and like, that makes more sense than what's happening here. I'm making this up in my head.
No, I just think you've gone on, and I say this with the most love, Hulu. This is nothing but a compliment, Hulu. I think you've just gone on one of the single dumbest reality competition shows that's ever been produced. Honestly. And I loved every single minute of it. I loved every single minute of it.
It's stupid. I mean, people have been saying on Twitter and or X or whatever you call it now.
Twitter.
Things like this show is so stupid. I need 10 more seasons. It's like, yeah.
Like,
let's just keep doing this.
I literally felt
10 more people.
I felt this way watching this show, and I felt this way about watching shows like The GOAT on Amazon Prime, because like Hulu, Amazon Prime are not the people you think about when you think about competition reality shows. You're not thinking about, I'm gonna go turn on my Hulu and watch a reality television show. You're thinking about the Kardashians. They over there. We're gonna think about all these shows and other things that they watch from another network. We're not going to Hulu for our competitive reality television. So when we do get that, and we see that they did lean a little bit into the comedy side of it all, and the ridiculousness of people stuck in this house trying to get out, and people stopping them on every turn. It's ridiculous, but it's so good. I felt that way about The GOAT. I'm like, it's ridiculous, but I watch another season of it because of the ridiculousness of it. It's stupid. It's crazy.
Yes,
but it takes me away from reality.
It's like food that you buy at a carnival.
Yes.
Is it good for you? No.
Absolutely not.
Is it good? Not really.
Not some of them. Not really.
I shouldn't say it's like, is it good for you? Is it filling? Is it anything? But it sure tastes good while you might throw up later. But right now it tastes so good. And
absolutely.
Watching the show, and I'm just watching us be, Athena catching me in the trash can. I'm like, this is funny. It's funny that I got caught in the trash can.
We're seeing former track star Omarosa trying to run down the driveway, talking about, I'm running, and she's literally jogging. It's the funniest thing in the world. Like, we expect this 50-year-old woman to actually be sprinting down a long drive. Absolutely not.
And it's like, you also have to be able to laugh at yourself for a show like this. It's fine. I mean, and I like to say that it's not everybody who can say that they have had a Marvel star calling you Liar Steve. And, like when I found out that he was just going to be clowning on us the whole time, I'm like, oh, this just gets better and better.
I was going to say, like, at what point did you find out that Simu Liu was going to be the host? And, like, what was your reaction? Because when I found out he was the host, I was like, okay, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
And when I started watching, I was like, this is the right choice. Like, I wouldn't want anybody else hosting this show, honestly.
Well, the funny thing is we didn't see him. Well, he was in the house while we were there. Not every day, not all the time. But
okay.
So after one of the challenges, on the one that we got soaked with wine, we were all sitting like outside. Canada's funny, in the summer, because during the day it's 110 and then at night it's like 40. And it's like, it just gets so cold. So we were all like, the sun's going down and we're all wet and we're sticky and we're gross. And we're waiting to go back into the house. But we can't go back into the house because they kept saying, we want to get a shot of you guys all walking into the house. I'm like, well, then just send the camera over and we can just go in. Like, I don't understand the problem. Come to find out, he was filming a couple things and they didn't want him to. For what they made a choice for us not to see him. And so I found out, I told the rest of the cast because one of my colleagues who was at People Magazine was actually over at Us Weekly and got the the media thing, the embargoed media thing, and was like, Steve, you were on that show with Simu Liu. I'm like, what? He's like, no, and he forwarded it to me. And I was like, oh. So I go to the cast. I'm like, guess what? We have a host. And Spencer's like, I don't understand what this show. Nobody understood it. We had no idea what this show was going to be. And I think that they went 100% the right direction. Exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It was so good. But
his narration was just so spot on. Like, he's got this way of, like, it's deadpan, but in the funniest way, and it's charismatic. The way that they did his narration, where it was like, what was the line? Who needs to worry? Or like, what was the intro of every episode was like, who's trying to get out? Susan, or like something. I don't remember exactly what it was. It's been like a couple of weeks since I've watched it, but the intro of every episode, I was like, this is just, it's those small details. Like I said when we covered $1 Million Secret here on the channel, and like with this as well, it's the little details about shows like this that I'm always going to hold on to, and those are the things that make me want to watch like more seasons. I go around my house on a daily basis saying, hit the button, hit the button, hit the button.
This is going to sound, you two will understand it. I don't know that all of your listeners will. So I'm watching the show, and there's those 3 episodes where I'm really not in it. And even though I knew I was coming back, there's part of me that's like, wait, where am I? Like, you get this panicky thing. So then I'm watching, and when it gets to the final episode, and I'm doing my thing, and then it's like, the last thing is like Athena saying, how did this happen? And then when Simu's like, let me let you in on a little secret. And then they have this 2.5-minute montage of everything. There's part of me that's watching it, and it's like, I got emotional watching it because I was like, I'm even getting emotional talking about it to you guys right now. Like, the dream of having that type of edit where it's like, they're showing like, oh yeah, Bruce Willis was dead the whole movie. Like that type of edit that you get in the last thing. It's like, I will never not be grateful for that. Like that is the best gift that I think I've ever been given was, because I love reality. I'm literally crying telling everybody. I love reality TV so much. And, after 30 years and not really ever really trying, one falls in my lap and it's this crazy show. And then they give me that edit. And then like, I have Simu Liu being like, let me tell you who the star was. It's just like, I was like, I actually texted the editors and I was like, you guys, you did me good. You guys did me good on that. So,
because here's the thing with that. You deserve that.
Right.
I was like, I played, but it was a really special moment for me to watch that and be like, of the people who even get on reality TV, most people don't get a wrap up like that. So, and especially not amongst all these reality stars that I've been watching for, I've been watching since I am 55 and I have been watching reality TV since I was 21. And, so it's like, it was a lifelong dream I didn't know I had until I saw that thing and I was just like, I rewound it, watched it again, watched it again. I can't believe this just happened to me. So if I never do another reality show, which is not going to happen, I want to do another, but if I never do, I got what I needed, what I like, that dream came true, and it was a legit dream that came true. So
you got what you deserved.
I'm about to say.
You
I was
got
saying
what
you
you
don't have
deserved.
to say it. You don't have to say it because be humble. But you absolutely played the heck out of this game from beginning to the end, and even in the middles where we didn't see it, I know you were still playing,
I
and
was playing.
the fact that you all of this other stuff that we never saw and we probably never will see that we now know happened and why everything you did made sense. Because it didn't make sense to us at the beginning because
No.
it was we didn't see challenges. But now that we know, it's like, oh no, you got what you deserved. You got what Simu said, because he was like, every time you was mention the button disabler,
Disabler.
and he was like, that doesn't exist, and people still listen, but that does, like, you kept getting that throughout the entire last two episodes, like, Steve's button doesn't exist, that's why it's never gonna happen, and you deserve that. And as someone who is as an avid fan of reality television for almost as long as you, I get it, I understand it. If I was ever on a show after, like I said, not really trying. I have not really tried to get on a show, but if I ever did try and get on a show, and for that to be my edit, it's
Right.
like, whoa, that's baby, that's the Oscars. That's the
Yeah.
trifecta. I just want an Oscar, a Grant. I'm an EGOT right now. You can't tell me nothing. Like, I just want it all, and the Super Bowl, and the
Yeah.
World Series, and the NBA. I want it all
The
in
World
that
Cup, the
moment.
Eurovision final, like all of
Baby,
it. You have
I
all of
That
want
it.
everything. I want
truly,
WrestleMania. I want everything.
yeah. It's funny how much I felt that. I mean, and so, I, yeah, I remain grateful. Like, there's nobody in this whole process that, so yes, would it have been great to walk away with
Yes.
$222,000 earlier on in the season? Yeah, it would have. But I got something. Okay, granted, I can't pay my kids' tuition on it, but it was something that I will be talking about it in the nursing home,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
the poor nurses will be like, "Of course, you were the star, dear. That's fine. Have some
Here, eat
food."
your jello.
But then you can turn on Hulu and be like, but
I mean,
actually though, here's
but
my two and
actually,
a
I
half
was.
minute montage. Here you go. I will say as well, as someone who is very, I'm still very early in my career as well, but I've realized recently that this is what I want to do. Like, I'm going into journalism, and I'm going back to school in August to finish my degree in a similar field to this, and like, to hear about your career, see where you're at, and everything like that. It's incredibly inspirational to me. And like, to see, and as someone who's been a fan of reality TV for not as long as either of you, but still for 13 years now, like it's
Mhm.
still a good amount of time. Like, to see where you're at is like, damn, okay, no, like it's incredibly inspirational. So if for nothing else, just know that like, you're impacting people in a way that, like, I don't even know if you're realizing it, and it's really really cool to see. So just thank you for that.
Thank you. I mean, I will say, like, we all think that it's all going to happen for us when we're 30, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, there is part of me that's like, all right, they took a chance on, because they I am older than Roger was on Survivor Australia.
Yep.
So just like put that in mind. It's like, okay, so that's cool. Like, it's like they gave me a great gift. All of it was just a real gift. And if anybody else wants to give me another gift, I'm here for it. But if that's the only gift I ever get like that, no regrets.
I love that. I love that.
Well, Steve, I don't know if I don't know if you have anything else that you want to talk about. We done talked almost for 2 hours, and
Yeah, I'm good.
I will talk 2 more hours with you because I enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I just want to say, just thank you so much for sitting down with us and talking to us about all of this. This was a pleasure and very unexpected because I didn't know it was going to happen. And we talked about it, but we didn't know it was going to happen. So I'm glad it did happen.
I mean, he's the one that facilitated this. He slid in my DMs to make it happen, and I said,
I watch it.
Yes.
There is, again, because all I listen to is all these podcasts about reality shows. So of
Same.
course, I watched yours and everything. I watched all of them. I watched the video part of them, and the funny thing is, I do realize now you guys were the best one. I've listened to a few of them, and I just want to be like, no. What happened was there was a challenge, and I did So it kind of keeps me in mind every time I do, because I've done podcasts on different. I've done some stuff on Survivor and whatever, and it's like we can speak to what the edit was. We can't speak to what really happened, and but yeah, I just once I saw you guys, I was like, yeah, I want to do this one. I want to share the tea. So
and you're welcome back literally anytime for anything.
Oh yeah, we're doing this again sometime on something.
We're doing it. And we can talk about any show because guess what? We probably covered them all.
Yeah. We are covering most, if not all of them. So we're here.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. That's what the fan in us says. I have to talk about it, and what better way to talk about it on a platform and let people on the internet feel that. So thanks.
I mean, this is the type of thing where you used to go to work and be like, "Hey, did anybody see the show last night?"
Right.
Back when TV was like you had to watch it on Wednesday or whatever.
And that's a lot of the reason why we wanted to start this podcast is because, like, specifically Lana and I, we don't have a lot of people in our everyday in-person lives that, like, we don't have those people around us necessarily to do that. And that's a lot of the reason we wanted to start this, was because we needed that kind of environment, because we love these shows. We want to foster that kind of environment with people that love these shows just like we do. So
I just want to talk about it, and I talk a lot, and nobody want to listen to me in my house, so I just get on the internet and talk about it. So it works for me. It works for me. But thank you so much, Steve. We appreciate you very much. I'm just excited. I'm so excited. I really do hope this show gets renewed for a second season because it deserves it. It, like you say, few little tweaks, but absolutely great.
I will be applying.
100%. Apply. I mean, like, they put me on, so
absolutely. But that's it. We're gonna get out of here. But y'all know what to do. We are on a mission here at the Cup to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. So if you want to subscribe, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to all of our channels. All the links will be in the description below. Follow us on our audio podcast links, our Patreon. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And you can follow all of us because you've been seeing it. It's been scrolling past all through this episode. So follow us on all of our socials. Anything else you want to plug, Steve, before I let you go? Anything you got to shout out?
Instagram. Steve,
it'll be linked.
It'll be linked. Yeah, follow Steve. Follow, because he's great. So follow Steve, and I'm definitely be doing that as soon as I get off here. But thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Oh, and get your cup mug. Hello. Get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is in the description below as well. And on that note, all we can say is cheers, y'all.
Cheers.